No, that's as tall as we go. Shabbat Shalom. I think that as long as I have been alive, I have been tired. I was thinking about it. No, seriously, when I was a teenager, I was tired. Because, you're in high school, and I was on these classes, I was on the newspaper, I've always been a nerd. I was tired. College, I was tired because it's college. In rabbinical school, that's grad school, 8-hour days in class, 5 days a week, and you're working on top of it. I was tired. And my mom said, even when I was in college, I started drinking coffee when I was in college. Maybe you'll have to start drinking coffee. But I didn't start in college, and I didn't start in rabbinical school. I started working. Working is very tiring, and I moved here working Harvey, very long days, trying to get all this stuff you need to get done. Working is very tiring. It's exhausting. My mom was like, oh, gonna start drinking coffee? Didn't start drinking coffee when I started working. Then I got pregnant, and I was definitely tired, all of the time, but it was nothing compared to after I had the baby. Because, boy howdy, that is a whole new level of exhaustion. I can see all the parents being like, you don't know until you've done it. It's soul-destroying. I described it at the time to a friend that you go to the hospital to have a baby, and you just never sleep again. You're up all the time. You're delirious from not sleeping. And the first time in my whole life was that I thought, wow, I'm so tired. I should drink some coffee. Call my mom. We're reading this week about suffering. Also, we're reading about the plagues. That's suffering. And the second plague is a funny one. It's the one that all the kids love when we talk about during the Passover Seder. The second plague we read about this week is the one of frogs. We know frogs, right? I know the frogs. Frogs plague is a famous one. I always learned that it was frogs, right? There are frogs on his bed and frogs on his head. Frogs were everywhere, right? The most adorable plague ever. But I never realized, until I was preparing for this Devar Torah, that the actual text, like the actual Hebrew in the Torah, the actual text of the Bible, it doesn't quite say that, actually. It doesn't quite say that. God's preparing Moses. He says, tell Aaron, hold the staff, and there will be frogs everywhere, and they'll be crazy. Frogs, pandemonium, frogs, Sfardeim, frogs. It says, Sfardeim al ha'eretz, frogs covering the land. Frogs, right? Frogs. But that's not what it says happened, actually, if you read it. It says, Aaron held out his arm over the waters of Egypt, v'ta'al ha'tzfarde'ah, and the frog arose out of the water. The frog, singular, one frog. That's it. That's your plague. One frog. Doesn't sound that terrible. And I'm not the first rabbi to stumble on this. I'm clever, but I'm not that clever, actually. And it was discovered a long time ago. A very long time ago. Ancient time, actually. The ancient rabbis, they saw this. One frog, who cares about a frog? And they had a very clever explanation. They said, and you can't make this up, because they already did. You can't make this stuff up. This is what it actually says. The rabbis say that there was indeed one frog for the plague. One frog. And the Egyptians saw this frog. I'm not making it up, I promise. They saw this one frog come up out of the water, and they said, a frog. And they bashed it with a stick. And when they bashed it with a stick, it multiplied into hundreds and hundreds of frogs. And the frogs were everywhere. Now, that's very funny for me to imagine, because I don't know about in Texas, but in Virginia we got these little peepers, like the little baby frogs. And I just imagine the cutest plague that ever was, just peepers everywhere in my mind. But that's what they say in this story, that they had one frog, smacked it, hundreds of frogs everywhere. And it kind of reminds me of real life. Bear with me here. Not the frogs part. That's weird. I don't think that could happen. But the Egyptians, right? Okay, they see a frog and they see a problem. They say, ooh, that's a problem. We don't want this frog here coming up out of the water. And instead of thinking, I wonder how that happened. I wonder why this is happening. Why is there this random frog coming up out of the water? They just tried to make it go away. Tried to make the symptom go away. But did it work? No. It didn't work. Actually, it got worse. And how often do we do that in our own lives? We treat the symptoms instead of the root cause of our problems. So if I'm, hypothetically speaking, tired, and I think, I should take a break. I should get some coffee. I should drink coffee. That'll wake me up. Okay, maybe it will. Maybe it will perk me up. It might treat the tiredness in the moment, but will it fix the problem? I don't think so. Apologies for anyone who speaks Japanese. I'm going to now ruin that language for you. There's a very famous industrial engineer named Taishi Ono. He created the Toyota production system. Toyota, like Toyota the cars. And it was all about efficient production, effective, continuous innovation, solving problems. And this is like a business kind of a thing. And he said that when an issue comes up, when the business has a problem or an issue, you have to ask why 5 times. So you're having an issue or a problem in your business, you gotta ask why 5 times. Now for him it was business. Someone says, I can't make enough sales calls. Okay, why can't you make enough sales calls? Well, I don't have enough time to make sales calls. Okay, well, why don't you have enough time to make sales calls? Well, I spend so much time on paperwork. I guess that's why I don't have time. Well, why do you spend so much time on paperwork? Well, we don't have enough administrative people, so I'm always having to do paperwork instead of making calls. So the symptom, what seems like the issue is you're not making enough calls, but really, the problem is you don't have enough staff. You don't have enough administrative people to do the paperwork. So the actual solution that would really solve the issue is hiring more staff. So if, hypothetically speaking, I'm tired and I want to drink some coffee, well, hold on. Why are you tired? Well, I didn't get enough sleep. I don't get enough sleep. This is true. Why don't you get enough sleep? Well, I couldn't fall asleep until 2 a.m. Why couldn't you fall asleep until 2 a.m.? Well, I was busy with the baby until he went to bed, and then I had to take care of all the house stuff that you can't do when you're taking care of a baby, because it needs a lot of attention. And then after that, I was laying in bed, and I had to send one last email, and then I was already on my phone, so I thought I should just check Facebook and Instagram and the news and, the internet. Okay, but why did you have to send an email at 2 a.m.? Well, I was laying in bed thinking about this project I'm working on. I couldn't let it wait. I couldn't let it wait until morning. I had to take care of it. So the symptom is tiredness. And that seems like it's the issue, but the real issue is that I'm thinking about work stuff and I'm distracted by the phone. Those are the root causes. That is why I'm tired, actually. Drinking coffee feels like a solution, and it might make me less tired in the long run, in the short run, but it won't actually fix any actual problems. Like the Egyptians smacking that one frog, hoping it makes the whole cause of the plague go away. It didn't work. It won't work. Didn't work for them. Won't work for you. If I'm tired, I'm better served by practicing good sleep hygiene than drinking coffee, trying to leave my phone elsewhere, trying to leave work at work. So I sleep longer, I sleep better, and I'm less tired in the morning. We don't want to deal with the causes of the problems in our lives, though, I think, because that would mean confronting our own shortcomings, and that's tough. Unpleasant truths about ourselves, something that we're messing up, ways that we're falling short, ways that we contribute to our own unhappiness. But we gotta do it. We gotta ask ourselves, why 5 times? Like Taishi Ono said. We have to get to the bottom of our issues, the root causes, so we can fix them. Having a baby is exhausting. And thank God, by 9 months, which is where he is now, he sleeps through the night most of the time. Truth be told, I've had a hard time sleeping and hard time having enough energy during the day most of my life because I bring all of my worries and my cares and my anxieties to bed, and they keep me up. And then there's the phone. It doesn't help. And I would love to blame it on the baby. Sorry, David. I'd love to blame it on the baby. Oh, I have a baby, but he sleeps through the night. It's not really him. It's not his fault. I'd like to say it is and drink some coffee and call it a day, but that's not really the problem. It wouldn't really help. Think about the Egyptians if they actually had employed the 5 whys, if they asked why 5 times. Like, hey, there's a big weird frog here. That's a problem. Okay, why is there a big weird frog here? Well, that guy Aaron made it appear. Why did that guy Aaron make a big weird frog appear? Well, his God told him to. Why would his God tell his to? Well, maybe his God is mad at us for enslaving the people for hundreds of years. How much shorter a Seder would we have if we could stop at plague number 2 instead of having to go to all 10? Just saying. The Egyptians should have thought of us, actually. So think about your life. Think about any issue you're dealing with in your own life. Now, is it a standalone problem, or is it a symptom of something else? And ask yourself why 5 times. And try to suss out the root cause of that issue. It could be an issue that you're having at work, could be an issue you're having at school, it doesn't matter. Maybe there's a goal you can't quite meet. Maybe there's a repetitive issue, something that just keeps coming back and affecting you over and over. You're perpetually late. You never have enough time. You're always tired. And ask yourself why 5 times. Get to the bottom of it. Don't be like the Egyptians. Don't bury your head in the sand, hoping that if you treat the symptom, then the cause will go away. It won't. It'll probably only get worse. How much nicer would your life be, and would all of our lives be, if when we went to solve a problem, we could actually fix it? Shabbat Shalom.